Hello dear students, welcome back to the another session of Social and Political Life 2. Today we are on chapter number 4. The chapter's name is Growing Up as Boys and Girls. So, it is a gift from the God to born as boys and girls, isn't it? Now, in the society, there are some rules which is meant only for the boys and which is meant only for the girls. Now, each and every gender has their own identity. But in this chapter, we're going to learn about growing up as boys and girls, what are the rules and how we are expected to behave in the society, and what are the values we get from our family as a boy and as a girl. Then also we're going to see in the past year, like some years back, like how the boys and girls used to be treated, and now in the present century, how the boys and girls are being treated. We are going to find out a different previously some 50 years back and now at present, in the present century, how they are being treated. What is the difference? So let us begin the chapter. Growing up as boys and girls. Being a boy or a girl is an important part of one's identity. The society we grow up in teaches us what kind of behavior is acceptable for girls and boys, what boys and girls can or cannot do. We often grow up thinking that these things are exactly the same everywhere. But do all societies look at boys and girls in the same way? So, growing up as boys and girls is an important identity. And the society, as I told you in the beginning, that the society that teaches us that how a boy and a girl should behave. Then, do you think that growing up as a boy and girl is exactly the same everywhere? In each and every country, is it the same everywhere? And do all the societies looks at boys and girls in the same way? So let us see. We will try and answer this question in this chapter. We will also look at how the different roles assigned to boys and girls prepare them for their future roles as man and woman. We will learn that most societies value men and women differently. The roles women play and the work they do are usually valued less than the roles men play and the work they do. This chapter, we will also examine how inequalities between men and women emerge in the area of work. Now, growing up somehow in the 1920s, the Solomon Islands are part of a large group of small islands in the southern part of the Pacific Ocean. In 1920s, according to research reports on Solomon society, children did not go to school. They learned many things such as how to take care of children or do household work from older children and from adults. Fishing was a very important activity on the islands. Young people therefore learned to undertake long fishing expeditions, but they learned that these things at different points in their childhood. So, according to the reports of Solomon Island, which is in the southern part of Pacific Ocean, there the children used to be learned by the people to how to take care of the children, and how they used to teach the children that how they should take up the responsibility of the house, like how they in what way they have to do the household work, and also they were taught how to do fishing. Okay, because they were taught that fishing is an important activity of their culture. So many young people were engaged in all these things. They were engaged in household activity. They were engaged in looking after the children. They were engaged in doing fishing. So, but they were not sent to the school. As soon as babies could walk, their mother or other adults no longer looked after them. Older children, often as young as 5 years old, took over their responsibility. Both boys and girls looked after their younger siblings, but by the time a boy was about 9 years old, he joined the older boys in learning outdoor jobs like fishing and planting coconuts. Girls had to continue looking after small children or do errands for adults till they were teenagers. But once they become teenagers, they had much more freedom. After the age of 14 or so, girls also went on fishing trips, worked in the plantation, learned how to weave baskets. Cooking was done in special cooking houses, where boys were supposed to do most of the work while girls helped with the preparation. So, as soon as they were born, they used to like when they are about 5 years old, they used to take up all the responsibility. And then the boys when they slowly start growing like about 9 years or teenagers, they go for learning the outdoor activities like fishing, like cutting the wood, and all those things they were learned. And girls were expected to look after their siblings, after their younger brother or sister. And then they used to prepare the food also. And the girls also, when they become teenagers, they were also given freedom to practice the fishing. And then the girls, they used to look after the house, and the boys were engaged in the outdoor activity. Now, growing up male in Madhya Pradesh in the 1960s. The following is adapted from an account of experiences of being in a small town in Madhya Pradesh in the 1960s. So this is an incident in the 1960s which took place in Madhya Pradesh, how the male used to be treated in Madhya Pradesh in the 1960s. From class 6 onwards, boys and girls went to separate school. The girls' school was designed very differently from the boys' school. They had a central courtyard where they played in total isolation and safety from the outside world. The boys' school had no such courtyard, and our playground was just a big space attached to the school. So in Madhya Pradesh, the school of boys and girls were separate, and the infrastructure was also separate. Girls were not supposed to go out in the open ground and play. They were bound to play inside the corridor. And the boys, they can go outside and play in the school campus. There was no restriction for the boys. Every evening, once school was over, the boys watched as hundreds of schoolgirls crowded the narrow streets. As these girls walked on the streets, they looked so purposeful. This was unlike the boys who used the streets as a place to stand around idling, to play, to try out tricks with their bicycles. For the girls, the street was simply a place to get straight home. The girls always went in groups, perhaps because they also carried fears of being teased or attacked. So the boys, right after the school gets over, they used to gather in the streets and used to treat the girls very badly. They used to tease the girls, and then they very bad, like very, their behavior used to be very bad towards the girls, like how we often see in the movies also, like how the boys treats the girl whenever they see on the streets or in the bus stops, in the buses. So same likewise in 1960 also, this was the condition in Madhya Pradesh. The boys were very cruel towards the girls, and the girls were told to go straight away to their home from the school. They were not even supposed to stand outside the school campus and talk with their friends. So this was the life of the girls and the boys in Madhya Pradesh during the 1960s. After reading the two examples above, we realize that there are many different ways of growing up. Often we think that there is only one way in which children grow up. This is because we are most familiar with our own experiences. If we talk to elders in a family, we will see that their childhood were probably very different from us. So from the two examples, we easily found out that there are a lot of different ways in which the boys and girls were being brought up. Maybe it's because from the experience of their family members also. So they were given a different values for the boys and girls. We also realize that societies make clear distinctions between boys and girls. This begins from a very young age. We are, for example, given different toys to play with. Boys are usually given cars to play with and girls dolls. So in your childhood days also, if you can recollect that your brother will be given some toys like cars, then guns, and to the sisters we often see that given toys like Barbie dolls or teddy bear. So this was also a gender discrimination. We are being told that if you are a girl, then you have to play with these toys, and if you are a boy, then you have to play with this toys. So we are also brought up in this way only. We are not supposed to play with the boy's toy because it shows that if you play with the boy's toy, then people will tease you that if are you a boy? Why are you playing with the boy's toy? And if the boy plays with a girl's toy like Barbie doll or teddy bear, then they was being treated or you said by the people, told by the people that are you a girl? Why are you playing like a girl with a girl's toy? So this gets fitted in our mind that we are boy, we are girl, so we have a different toys for us. We cannot play with the girl's toy and we cannot play with the boy's toy. Both toys can be a lot of fun to play with, while girls then given dolls and boys cars. Toys become a way of telling children that they will have different features when they become man and woman. If we think about it, this difference is created in the smallest and most everyday thing. How girls must dress, what games boys should play, how girls need to talk softly or boys need to be tough. All these are ways of telling children that they have specific roles to play when they grow up to be man and woman. Later in life, this affects the subjects we can study or the careers we can choose. So this was the differences created by the society, like how a girl should dress, how a boy should dress, how a girl should talk, how a boy should talk. So this was the gender identification of boy and girl. If a girl talks like a boy, then she is not even appreciated, and if a boy talks softly and gently, then he also is not appreciated by the society. They start talking about them, and this also affects in career also. When we choose a different profession also, it impacts us a lot. In most societies, including our own, the roles men and women play or the work they do are not valued equally. Men and women do not have the same status. Let us look at how this difference exists in the work done by man and woman. My mother does not work. The topic is my mother does not work. Ma, we are going on a school excursion. Rosie ma'am needs volunteers. Can't you take a holiday from office and volunteer? Harmit's mother always comes for excursion because she doesn't work. So this girl, she wants her mother to go along with her during the excursion. Sonali, how can you say that? You know that Jasprit aunt is up at 5 a.m. every day and doing all the housework. So this girl, her question was, she told her mother that her friend's mother doesn't work, and that's why she could go to hermit's excursion or any function. But her mother, she confronted her by saying that, Sonali, how can you say that? You know that Jasmine aunt, she wakes up at 5 a.m. every day and does all the household work. Yes, but that's not real work. It's just housework. Oh, that's what you think, do you? Let's go over to their house and ask Jasprit what she think. So her mother, she wanted to make her daughter see that whether the household work is actually a work or not. So she took her to hermit's house, at the Singh's house. Harshanan, Sonali thinks that your wife is not a working person. But isn't that correct, aunt? My mother is a housewife. She does not work. Then Jasprit, why don't you just relax and let them manage everything for a change? Great idea. Okay, I will go on strike tomorrow. What fun. We will take care of everything tomorrow with Papa. Next morning 7:30 a.m. Oh God, look at the time. Where's my breakfast? Why aren't the children ready? How would I know? I am on strike, remember? Besides, Mangala has also taken leave today. Oh no, that's the school bus. I will have to drop them in the car. Hurry, and ask Hermit to switch on the pump. But what about the kids' lunch boxes? Oh no, forgot about that. I will give you some money. Just buy something from the canteen today. Ma already gave us money for that. Now, evening 6 p.m. I am exhausted. How about some tea? Oh, I forgot your strike. I will make some myself. The house looks like it was hit by a hurricane. Did you expect it to remain in exactly the same condition in which you left this morning, dear? Hermit, where on earth are the tea leaves? I wonder if they still believe I don't work. And now I have to remind them that Chachaji and Chachiji are coming for dinner. So see, according to this one, Sonali, she thinks that Hermit's mother, she doesn't work because according to her, housewife doesn't work. If they don't go to the office, that means that housewife, they don't do work. And that's why in order to make them realize, Sonali's mother told Jasprit that according to the children, she doesn't work. So it's better let them realize that what is the work done by you. So in order to make them realize, Jasprit, she took leave, and then the next morning we can see that how much the children as well as her husband was traveling in order to manage the household work. So from this story we can easily make out that a mother's work is nevertheless the work of an office. A mother also keeps on working at home. If the mother doesn't work at home and doesn't do the work, then the whole house will be scattered. Just like how Jasprit husband he found that if her wife doesn't do the household work, then everything will be messed out. So we have to value each and everybody's work. If a mother is a housewife, then also we have to value her, because if she doesn't look after the work of the house, then who will look after it? Then the women who go to the offices also, we have to value their works as well. It's not about a male or female can do. A male can, if a male goes to the office, then he should be valued. No, when a woman goes to the office also, she should be valued, because she looks after her family as well as her office work also. So she should be much more valued than a man. Now, valuing housework. From this story, we have to value the housework. Hermit's family did not think that the work Jasprit did within the house was real work. This feeling is not unique to their families. Across the world, the main responsibility for housework and caregiving tasks like looking after the family, especially children, the elderly and sick members, lies with women. Yet, as we have seen, the work that women do within the home is not recognized as work. It is also assumed that this is something that comes naturally to women. It therefore does not have to be paid for, and society devalues this work. So, according to the woman or the caregiver, it is her duty, because you are a woman, you are a female. So, it is your duty to look after your family, to look after your work, household work. So it is a discrimination, because she is expected to do all these works, and after doing all these works also, she is never valued. Her work is never valued. So this should be totally vanished from the people's mind, and we should in return value the household work as well. Now, lives of domestic workers. Domestic workers means the helper in our household work. In the story above, Hermit's mother was not the only one who did the housework. A lot of the work was done by Mangala. Remember, Hermit's mother, she told that Mangala is in leave. So Mangala was the domestic worker of Hermit's. She was the domestic worker of in Hermit's house. The domestic helper. Many homes, particularly in towns and cities, employ domestic workers. They do a lot of work: sweeping and cleaning, washing clothes and dishes, cooking, looking after young children or the elderly. Most domestic workers are women. Sometimes even young boys or girls are employed to do this work. Wages are low, as domestic workers does not have much value. A domestic worker's day can begin as early as 5 in the morning and end as late as 12 at night. Despite the hard work they do, their employers often do not show them much respect. This is what Milani, a domestic worker, had to say about her experience of working in Delhi. So domestic workers, the one who helps us in our household work, they should also be valued, because they do all the works in our house along with our mother. Start from cooking to washing dishes, then to looking after our brother or sisters, or to looking after our grandparents. A domestic worker, a helper, she does everything, and then also she is not valued by the employer. We often see that domestic workers are being treated very cruelly by the employer. Then somehow related to this domestic worker, we can see a story. The story of Milani, a domestic worker. My first job was with a rich family that lived in a three-storied house. The Mem Sahib was very strange, as she would shout to get any work done. My work was in the kitchen. There were two other girls who did the cleaning. Our day would begin at 5 o'clock. For breakfast, we would get a cup of tea and 2 dry rotis. We could never get a third roti. In the evening, when I cooked the food, the 2 other girls would beg me to give them an extra roti. I would secretly give it to them and make an extra one for myself. We were so hungry after walking through the day. We could not wear chappals in the house. In the winter, our feet would swell up with the cold. I used to feel scared of the Mem Sahib, but also felt angry and humiliated. Did we not work all day? Did we not deserve to be treated with some respect? So Milani's question was this: did we not work all day? And did we not deserve to be treated with some respect? See, domestic worker, if they take even a half day leave also, we can just imagine that what will be the condition of that house. The owner of that house would have to do all the works which used to be done by the domestic worker. So, according to her, Milani, each and every domestic worker should be respected because they do all the work. From starting from morning 5 o'clock till the day ends. So they does all the work, and each and every domestic worker should be respected. In fact, what we commonly term as housework actually involves many different tasks. A number of these tasks require heavy physical work. In both rural and urban areas, women and girls have to fetch water. In rural areas, women and girls carry heavy head loads of firewood. Tasks like washing clothes, cleaning, sweeping, and picking up loads require bending, lifting, and carrying. Many chores like cooking involve standing for long hours in front of hot stoves. The work women do is strenuous and physically demanding, words that we normally associate with men. Another aspect of housework and caregiving that we did not recognize is that it is very time consuming. In fact, if we add up the housework and the work women do outside the home, we find that women spend much more time working than men and have less time for leisure. So the woman who goes to the office also, do you think that they don't do the work at home? Of course they do. And the woman, if we compare to the man's work, the woman spends much more time working both in house as well as in offices, and they don't even get time to spend with their family members because they have to look everything. In office also they have to work, in house also they have to work. After they get off from the office also, they come to the house and then do all the works, starting from cooking to washing, everything. Below is some data from a special study done by the Central Statistical Organization of India in the year 1998 to 1991. This is the statistical data. See if we can fill in the blanks. State women paid work hours per week, women unpaid housework hours per week, women total man paid work hours per week, man unpaid housework per week, and man total. Now the state of Haryana, women paid working hours per week 23, then women unpaid housework hours per week 30. So 23 women are paid and 30 women are unpaid, the one who does the housework, and here 23 women, those who work. Then find out the total. Then men paid, the man who goes out 38, and men unpaid is 2. Then men in total, find out, calculate and find out. Then Tamil Nadu, 19 women are paid, 35 women are unpaid, total you have to find out. Men, 40 men are paid and 4 men are unpaid, so you have to find the total number. What are the total number of work are spent by women in Haryana and Tamil Nadu each day, every week? So what is the total number of work spent by women in Haryana? work spent by women in Haryana, you have to calculate and find out here. Then, and Tamil Nadu also you have to find out. How does this compare with the total number of work hours spent by men? How you have to compare and find out the total number of work spent by men. Okay. Now, women's work and equality. As we have seen, the low value attached to women's household and caregiving work is not an individual or family matter. It is a part of a larger system of inequality between men and women. It therefore has to be dealt with through actions, not just at the level of the individual or the family, but also by the government. As we now know, equality is an important principle of our constitution. The constitution says that being male or female should not become a reason for discrimination. In reality, inequality between the sexes exists. The government is therefore committed to understand the reason for this and taking positive steps to remedy the situation. For example, it recognizes that burden of childcare and housework falls on women and girls. This naturally has an impact on whether girls can attend school. It determines whether women can work outside the house and what kind of jobs and careers they can have. The government has set up Anganwadis or child care centers in several villages in the country. The government has passed laws that make it mandatory for organizations that have more than 30 women employees to provide crèche facilities. The provisions of crèche helps many women to take up employment outside the home. It also makes it possible for more girls to attend schools. Now, Anganwadi school we can see in our area, and here the government has made it mandatory that at least 30 women should be seen working in the Anganwadi school or are being employed. And the government also made it mandatory for girls also that they should attend the schools. Now before, the women were regarded as child giver, so they have to look after the family, they have to look after the household works, and that's why the women they did not get chance to work outside their homes because they're expected to do all the household works. And that's why the government, according to the Indian constitution, whether you are male or female, each and every person has the right to freedom, means the right to do any work. So that's why the government, it has passed a law that in the rural area, each and every woman should be employed, and that's why the government has set up the Anganwadi or the child care centers. This is the scenario of the Anganwadi school, okay, in Madhya Pradesh. We can see that women are also engaged, the children are also engaged. So that's why from this chapter we should know that nobody is discriminated. If you are a boy, you have a right to work, and if you are a girl also, you have the right to work. There shouldn't be any gender discrimination. So what the government has also passed the law that there shouldn't be any discrimination of gender, and we should respect each and every work. We should value the work of everybody, whether it is a domestic worker or whether it is our mother. Each and everybody has a right to be valued. Their works should be valued. So this was about the chapter. I hope so you have understood the chapter very well. So next time we will meet with a new topic. Till then, children, take care of yourself, and thank you so much.